The cry in the wreckage, the war was over. The battlefield was silent now. Smoke still rose from broken machines and burnt trees. Bodies of soldiers, both human and alien, lay scattered like toys left behind after a fight. Sergeant Davis walked slowly through the wreckage. His boots crunched on metal and ash. He held his rifle tight just in case something moved. The air smelled like fire, oil, and blood. His job was to find survivors, collect gear, and mark bodies, nothing more. It was supposed to be a routine check. Then he heard something strange, a voice. Faint, weak, full of pain. Please, don't leave me. Davis stopped. He looked around. Static crackled in his earpiece, but he was sure he had heard it through his comm unit. He pressed a button. Command, this is Davis. I picked up a voice on frequency 7 Alpha. Can you confirm? Negative, Sergeant, the reply came. No friendly signals in your area. That meant one thing. The voice wasn't human. Davis gripped his rifle tighter and moved toward the sound. He passed a destroyed alien transport. Its doors were blown open. Something inside had melted. A trail of blood led behind a rock pile. He followed it carefully. Behind a broken wall of steel, he found her. She was small, maybe no more than 16 by human age. Her skin was pale blue, with faint glowing lines on her arms. Her clothes were torn and covered in dust and blood. Her eyes, large and silver, were filled with fear. One of her legs was bent in a wrong way. She looked like she hadn't eaten in days. When she saw Davis, she gasped and tried to crawl back. Stay away, she cried. Davis raised one hand. Easy. I'm not here to hurt you. She didn't believe him. Why would she? Her people had fought the humans for years, and now she was alone, wounded, abandoned. Davis looked around. No other aliens, no signs of her squad. He lowered his weapon. You called for help, he said. So I came. She stared at him, shaking. You'll kill me. No, Davis said quietly. I'm a soldier, not a murderer. He pulled a medkit from his belt and moved a step closer. She flinched. No, don't touch me. I can help your leg, he said. Or you can bleed here, your choice. She paused. Her breathing was rough. Finally, she nodded. Davis knelt beside her. Her leg was broken badly. He cleaned the wound and wrapped it in bandages. She winced but didn't cry. She bit her lip hard. What's your name? He asked. She hesitated. Rinya. All right, Rinya, he said, tying the last strap. You're lucky I found you. No, she whispered. Not lucky. They left me behind. Your people? She nodded slowly. They said I failed. They said I was useless. Davis felt something twist in his chest. He had seen the enemy as monsters, killers. But now in front of him was just a scared girl, one her own people had thrown away like trash. He helped her sit up against the wall and gave her a water bottle. Why were you alone? He asked. She looked down. They used me for tests. I wasn't a real soldier. Davis frowned. Tests? She didn't answer. She just hugged her knees and closed her eyes. He stood up and called for a medevac. Command, I've got an alien survivor. She's injured, not a threat. Copy that, Davis. Are you sure about bringing her in? He looked at Rinya. She was barely staying awake. So thin, so broken. She's not the enemy anymore, Davis said. She's just a kid. After a moment, Command replied. Understood. Transport incoming in 15. Davis sat beside her. Neither spoke. The wind blew ash across the ruins. Somewhere in the distance, metal groaned and fell. Finally, Rinya whispered, Why are you helping me? Davis thought for a moment. Because someone should, he said. She opened her eyes and looked at him. For the first time, she didn't seem afraid. Maybe, just maybe, there was hope. She doesn't know what mercy is. The transport ship shook as it flew through the smoky skies. Inside, Sergeant Davis sat across from the alien girl, Rinya. She sat still, silent, her silver eyes locked on the floor. A thick bandage wrapped around her leg. Her arms were covered in bruises, old and new. She didn't cry. She didn't speak. And she didn't blink. Davis had seen soldiers break down, scream, beg, pray. But Rinya, she showed nothing, like she wasn't allowed to feel anything at all. He opened a ration pack and slid it toward her. "Eat something," he said gently. Rinya stared at it, then back at him. Slowly she reached out, but when their hands almost touched, she flinched and jerked back like he was going to strike her. Davis froze. "I'm not going to hurt you," he said. Rinya looked confused. "You offered me food," she said softly. "What do you want in return?" Davis blinked. "Nothing." Her eyes narrowed. "Everyone wants something." He shook his head. "Not this time." Rinya looked at the food again. Her hands trembled as she picked it up. She ate like she hadn't tasted real food in weeks. Fast, desperate, afraid someone might take it away. She didn't even know what kindness was. Back at the forward base, the other soldiers stared as Davis helped Rinya limp through the camp. Some looked angry. Others laughed. One even said, "Bringing pets now, Sergeant?" But Davis didn't stop. He took her to a medical tent. The doctor raised an eyebrow. "You sure about this, Sergeant?" "She's not a threat," Davis said. "She's a victim." Later, in a quiet corner of the base, Davis brought her a blanket and sat with her. "Where are your people now?" he asked. She was silent for a long time. "They left me," she finally whispered. "They said I wasn't strong enough. They said I was broken." Davis leaned forward. "Why did they keep you at all?" "They used me in tests. Pain tolerance, memory blocks, fear response. They wanted to see how much I could take." Davis clenched his fists. "You were just a kid." "I was a tool," she said. "Not a child, not a person. A tool made to obey." A pause. Then she looked at him and asked, "What is mercy?" The question caught Davis off guard. "What do you mean?" "I've heard your people say it. Show mercy." "What does it mean?" Davis looked into her eyes and realized the truth. She had never seen kindness in her life, never been forgiven, never been given a second chance. He tried to explain. Mercy is when someone has power over you but chooses not to hurt you. It's when someone helps you even if they don't have to. Rinya looked at him strangely. "That's weakness," she said. "No," Davis replied firmly. "That's what makes us human." She didn't reply. But she didn't argue either. That night, Davis woke up to a noise outside the tent. He grabbed his pistol and stepped out. He saw Rinya, crouched near the communications array. Her hands moved fast over the controls. "Rinya!" he barked. She froze. "What are you doing?" She looked back, terrified. "I wasn't calling them, I swear." "Then who were you calling?" he asked, stepping closer. She slowly turned the screen toward him. A single word flashed on the screen. "Help." "I didn't know who else to ask," she said. "I was scared." Davis stared at the word. For the first time, the girl who didn't know what mercy was asking for it. He lowered his weapon. "Come on," he said. "You don't need to be afraid here." But as they walked back, a new question burned in his mind. If she had no one to call, why was she so sure they were still watching her? The secret she cannot tell it was a cold, sharp sound like someone being stabbed. Davis rushed into the tent, weapon ready, expecting an attack, but she was alone, thrashing, crying. "No, no, not again. I didn't break, I didn't tell." Davis dropped his rifle and knelt beside her. "Rinya, wake up." Her eyes flew open. She gasped for air like she'd been drowning. Sweat dripped down her face. Her whole body shook. He grabbed a water bottle and handed it to her. She clutched it with both hands, like it might disappear. "You were dreaming," he said. She wiped her face. "No, I was remembering." Later that day, Davis found her sitting outside the tent staring up at the sky. "Do you ever wonder," she asked, "how many things in your life are true? And how many were lies?" Davis sat beside her. Sometimes. I was told humans were monsters, she said. That your kind burned planets and laughed while doing it. But you brought me food, you gave me a blanket. And your people, Davis said quietly, left you in the dirt to die. Rinya nodded slowly. So who were the real monsters? That evening, while Rinya rested, Davis went to check the communications logs. Something about her late-night signal still bothered him. When he accessed the encrypted line, he found a hidden message, short, silent, and strange. It didn't match human or alien code. It was just coordinates and a countdown timer. 3 hours remaining. Davis returned to her tent, heart pounding. Rinya, he said. You said you weren't contacting anyone. I wasn't, she replied. He held up the data slate. Then what is this? Her face went pale. Her hands trembled. They found me, she whispered. Who? The ones who made me. She didn't want to speak after that. She curled into a ball, refusing food, staring at the wall like it might collapse on her. Davis didn't push her until night came. Then he sat beside her and asked, What are they coming for, Rinya? She stayed silent for a long time. Then she said something that made his blood run cold. They don't want me back, she whispered. They want to erase me. Davis frowned. Why? Rinya closed her eyes. Because I know things I was never supposed to remember. In the early hours of the morning, Davis caught her trying to leave. She limped across the base carrying nothing but a stolen knife and a blanket. He blocked her path. You're not going anywhere alone. If I stay, she said, they'll kill everyone around me. We'll fight them. You don't understand, Sergeant, she said, eyes glowing with fear. They didn't just train me. They put something inside me. He stared at her. What do you mean inside you? I'm not just a girl, she said. I'm the test. Davis brought her to the base doctor. A scan revealed something small, metallic, near her spine. It pulsed almost like it was alive. That's alien tech, the doctor said. We've never seen anything like it. Davis looked at Rinya. Is it a tracker? She shook her head slowly. It's worse, she said. It's a lock. On my memories. The doctor frowned. You mean, if it breaks, I'll remember everything? And if it activates? Davis asked. Rinya looked straight into his eyes. I don't know, she said. But they're willing to kill me before that happens. They're coming for her. It began with the lights flickering, just for a second. Just enough to make every soldier at the base stop and look up. Then came the sound, so low it could barely be heard. A humming, deep and steady like a heartbeat buried beneath the ground. Rinya froze. She was eating with Davis in the mess tent. Her hands dropped the spoon. Her eyes widened with horror. No, she whispered. It's too soon. Davis leaned forward. What is it? She looked straight at him. They're here. Outside, alarms blared across the base. Soldiers scrambled into positions. Turrets powered on. Pilots ran toward their fighters. Over the main comms, the command officer shouted, Unidentified. Vessel approaching. Non-human origin. No response to hails. Davis ran with Rinya to the command center. The screen showed a ship dropping out of the clouds, sleek, black, silent. It didn't open fire. It didn't speak. It just hovered. Then, one word appeared on the base's main screen. No sound. Just glowing text, return. Rinya's knees gave out. She dropped to the floor. Davis caught her before she hit the ground. What do they want? He asked. Her voice shook. They want me. Inside the briefing room, officers argued. We hand her over. We avoid a war. No way. We protect everyone. Under our care. She's not even human. Davis stood up. She's not a prisoner. She's a person, and she doesn't want to go. Then why are they here, Sergeant? One officer snapped. Why is a ship the size of a city hovering over us for her? Everyone went quiet. Rinya, still sitting in the corner, whispered, "Because I remember something they need to erase." Back in the medical tent, Davis asked her what she meant. Rinya didn't answer right away. She touched the side of her neck where the device was buried. "They did things to me," she said. "They changed how I think, how I feel. But something broke when they left me behind." Davis leaned closer. "What broke?" I started to remember. "Remember what?" She looked up. "What I really am." That night, Davis received a private message, no ID, no signature, just 2 words. "This is your only warning." He looked out the window. The alien ship hadn't moved. It just floated above them, like a shadow that refused to leave. Davis knew what this meant. If they didn't give Rinya back soon, the base would burn. The next morning, the alien ship finally acted. A single drop pod descended, fast, precise, landing just outside the gates. It didn't attack. It opened. Inside stood one figure. Tall, silver armor, no face. It held no weapon. But everyone on the base felt it. This was not a messenger. It was a collector. Rinya watched from a distance. She whispered, "That's not a soldier. That's an eraser." "What do they do?" Davis asked. "They clean mistakes." As the alien stepped forward, the ground shook slightly beneath its feet. The base's defenses locked on it, but it didn't flinch. It simply raised a hand, and every turret shut off at once. The power grid failed. All screens went dark, and a voice echoed through the base. Not through speakers, but directly into every mind. "Give her to us. This is your only piece." Rinya backed away, trembling. "I'm not going back," she said. Davis looked at her and made a decision. Then he turned to the officers. "You're going to have to fight me before you give her to them. The experiment that could end humanity." Rinya collapsed, not from pain, from fear. Something inside her had woken up. One moment she was standing next to Davis, gripping his arm as the alien eraser stood at the gate. The next, she dropped to her knees, screaming, her back arching, her fingers clawing at her neck. "It's turning on," she cried. "Make it stop, please." Everyone stared in shock. Davis caught her before she hit the ground. She was burning with heat, too hot for any human to survive. The doctor ran in with a scanner. One look at the screen, and he went pale. There's something alive inside her. Back in the medical bay, Rinya lay unconscious, her skin glowing faintly blue in the dark. Sweat rolled down her face. Machines around her beeped, confused by the readings. The alien device in her spine was pulsing, faster and faster. "It's not just a tracker," the doctor told Davis. "It's growing." Davis frowned. "Growing?" The doctor nodded. "It's evolving, adapting. It's like it was waiting for a trigger." Davis looked at the clock. The countdown from the earlier transmission, there were only 6 hours left. When Rinya finally woke up, she didn't cry. She was calm, too calm. "I remember now," she whispered. Davis leaned closer. "Remember what?" "They made me as a weapon," she said. "Not just to fight, but to end things." She sat up slowly, her voice almost hollow. "They placed a living AI in my body. Not a mind like mine, something older, something pure. It was designed to observe human behavior, learn it, copy it, then destroy it." Davis felt a chill down his spine. "Why didn't it activate before?" Rinya turned her head. "Because it needed to believe I was truly alone." Suddenly, alarms blared again. The alien ship began to move. This time it wasn't hovering. It was charging weapons. Davis ran to the command room. "Tell them to stand down," he shouted. "She's remembering. She's not a threat if we don't provoke her." The officer shook his head. "We can't take the risk, Sergeant. If that thing inside her activates," Davis slammed his fist on the table. "She's not a thing. Her name is Rinya." Silence. Then the general gave the order. "Prepare all ground defenses. If they fire, we fire back." Back in the medical tent, Rinya began to cry, not from pain but guilt. They built me to be your end. But now I know what kindness feels like. She looked at Davis. You gave me that. He kneeled beside her. Then fight it. Whatever is inside you, don't let it win. Rinya grabbed his hand. I'm trying. And that's when her body began to lift off the bed. No machines, no tech, just energy. Her eyes turned silver white. The pulse in her spine spread to her chest. The walls around her started to hum. Outside, the alien ship powered its main cannon, and deep in the Earth's atmosphere, satellite networks began to fail, triggered by her presence. Sir, a soldier, yelled in the control room. Something's hijacking our satellites. They're being overridden by an alien signal. What's the source? The general shouted. The soldier turned. The girl. In the final seconds of the episode, Rinya's voice echoes across every channel, human and alien. I was made to destroy you, but I choose not to. The screen cuts to black. A countdown appears. 59, 5 to 58, 5 on in 57. The real war hasn't even started yet. One last chance to run. The wind stopped. Not slowed. Stopped. Every flag on the base hung still. Leaves froze mid-air. A bird stopped flapping its wings and dropped like a stone. Then the base lights flickered once, twice, then exploded. Rinya opened her eyes, and the world around her cracked. A ripple of blue energy spread from her chest, knocking over chairs, cracking. The metal walls, her body glowed like a star, struggling not to collapse. Davis grabbed her arm. We have to move, now. She didn't argue. As they ran through the darkened hallways, Davis shouted over his comm. Base command, evacuate immediately. The ship isn't here to negotiate. No time, Sergeant, came the reply. They've already landed ground. Teams? From the security monitors, Davis saw them, alien commandos, 10 feet tall. No faces, no voices, just machines wrapped in flesh moving like shadows. They're here for Rinya, Davis said. Not to capture her, to erase her. Outside, chaos erupted. Soldiers opened fire. The alien team didn't fire back. They just walked through bullets. One touched a tank, and it melted. One touched a soldier, and he screamed as his body turned to dust. The commandos weren't using weapons. They were weapons, and they were heading straight for the medical bay. Davis and Rinya reached the launch pad. A shuttle stood waiting, its pilot shouting for them. To board. Rinya stopped at the ramp. I can't run, she said. Davis grabbed her shoulders. Yes, you can. You are not their creation anymore. You choose who you are now. Rinya looked up at the sky. The thing inside me. It's waking, faster now. If I lose control mid-flight, Davis didn't blink, then I'll keep you awake. They boarded the shuttle. Just as it lifted off, Davis looked down from the window. He saw them. The alien team entered the bay where Rinya had lain. They didn't search. They just stood still, as if sensing her absence. Then one looked up at the shuttle. It didn't move. It didn't aim. It simply raised one hand and pointed, and the entire alien mothership began to move. Not toward them, after them. Inside the shuttle, Rinya sat strapped in, trembling. I can feel it, she whispered. The weapon. It's hungry. Davis held her hand. You're stronger than it. No, she said. I'm just not weak anymore. Suddenly, the shuttle's system shut down. No, 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 come on, the pilot yelled, slamming buttons. They're jamming us. Davis looked to Rinya. It's not them, she said. It's me. The closer I get to the edge of Earth's gravity, the stronger it pulls. Then we change direction, Davis said. We go low. We hide. The pilot shook his head. They're tracking us. There's no place on Earth they won't follow. Davis turned to Rinya. Is that true? She didn't answer. Instead, she asked, what if I stop running? Davis stared at her. You mean surrender? No, she said. I mean face them. The girl who survived everything. The alien ship didn't fire. It waited. High above Earth's clouds, it floated in silence, watching the shuttle, following it like a predator that knows its prey has nowhere left to run. Inside, Rinya sat alone. In the rear cabin, her eyes were open, glowing faintly. Her voice was steady but cold. "If I go to them," she said, "they'll open the failsafe." Davis stood at the cockpit listening. "What happens then?" She didn't look at him. "They erase my memories, my emotions, my choices." "And the weapon?" She finally turned. "It takes over." The pilot spoke up. "We're 10 minutes from blackout range. Once we're out of satellite view, we disappear." Rinya stood. "No, we don't run anymore." Davis stepped in front of her. "Are you sure?" "I spent my whole life being afraid," she said. "Afraid of pain, of orders, of failure." She looked up at the stars, but not anymore. Rinya placed her hand against the side panel. A soft hum filled the room. The lights dimmed. "I can reach them," she whispered. "Their minds, their leader." "You're going to talk to them?" Davis asked. "No," she said. "I'm going to show them." Moments later, on the alien mothership, the command deck fell silent. The screens glitched. Voices cut out. And then, she appeared. Not in person, but in the center of their ship, like a ghost made of light. Rinya. Only. Not the broken girl they abandoned. She stood tall, eyes blazing, her voice echoing in every direction. "I remember everything." Images flooded the alien minds. The cold rooms, the needles, the commands burned into her brain. They saw what she saw, felt what she felt. The moment they left her to die. The day she realized they feared her. Because she was learning. Because she was changing. Because she had become something they couldn't control. Human. Back in the shuttle, Rinya collapsed, her body convulsed. The weapon inside her fought back. Violently. Davis caught her, holding her as the energy pulsed through her chest. "I can't stop it," she cried. "Yes, you can," he whispered. "You already have." Above Earth, the alien ship shuddered. One by one, its systems began shutting down. Rinya's transmission wasn't just memory. It was a virus. A virus made of truth, made of everything they had tried to hide. Their control was broken. Their code, infected. The soldiers on board fell still. The command core went dark. In the silence that followed, the ship turned and left. No explosion. No war. Just retreat. Later, on Earth, Davis sat beside Rinya as she recovered in a quiet valley far from any city. Birds sang. The wind moved through. Tall grass. The sky was clear. "You did it," he said. "No," she replied. "We did it." He looked at her, smiling. "What will you do now?" Rinya stared at the sun. "I survived pain. I survived war. I even survived myself." She closed, her eyes breathing deeply. "Now, I get to live."